Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode of Chosen Frequency. It's your boy Stan Soul Man, and y'all with me today while I'm on the slave ship. Don't mind my voice, I was sick, and that's why I have not uploaded. I needed to get over my cold first, and my voice is now starting to come back. So I can explain to you guys anxiety, all of that stuff. I was at a very, very low point. And my pops called me up with my sister and was like, yo, you got to see this documentary. And it was a documentary that my pops had been telling me to watch. He had been telling me to, go ahead and go watch this stuff or whatever. And my sister told me that she watched it. Now, my sister, she a Leo. So she feels a certain way about certain things. And a lot of things don't really pique her interest. And this is one of, she's not really into astrology as much as my dad is. We're not into astrology as much as my dad is. So he tells us to watch this. She told me that she watched it, and when she told me that, I was like, okay, I'm gonna watch it then. Because they kept talking about it, and I'm like, let me find out what the hell they talking about. And she like, man, that shit blew my mind. So I watched the documentary, and it's called E.T.'s Among Us. I'm gonna leave the documentary. I'm gonna leave the link for it in the description because it's on Amazon Prime. Okay, but it's 4 movies, but it's called E.T.'s Among Us. All right, so I started watching the movie, and it's very interesting because it's talking about the origins of mankind. Not what you're thinking of how we derive from apes, but the actual origins of mankind, like how men were actually made, different. And make no mistake, this shit go hand in hand with consciousness. Okay, spirituality goes hand in hand with consciousness. All right, so I'm watching the fucking documentary, and I'm really into history, so I'm paying attention to the hieroglyphics that they showing, because the documentary is about the beginning of mankind in Egypt. So there's a bunch of hieroglyphics. Pardon that was a helicopter. But they talking about the hieroglyphics and stuff like that, right? And I'm paying attention, and basically there was these huge beings, these very big beings, and on the hieroglyphics there was these smaller beings, but the smaller beings was giving praise to these bigger humans, these bigger beings. And I knew they was big because on the hieroglyphics it showed a regular person, and then it showed the actual being. So in my head I was like, okay, that was interesting to me. And I didn't really think much of it, but I was like, it was just very intriguing, to know that. And then to understand that they have found bodies of giants in the Middle East and stuff like that. So as I'm watching it, I just intake a lot. I don't want to go into too much into the documentary, but I took in a lot from the documentary. And as I'm watching it, I learned a lot, and I ended up telling my pops. I called my pops. I'm like, damn, thank you for putting me onto the movie the documentary, because I never would have known the stuff that I know now, and I know the history of man and what I believe. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm watching, I finished watching it, and it's 4 movies, y'all. It's 4 documentaries, and it's about different stuff. One talk about ETs, one talk about the origins of mankind. It's different shit. So after that, I was on Amazon Prime, and I haven't seen the movie X-Men Apocalypse in a long time. So when I was watching it, when I seen it, I was like, shit, let me go ahead and watch this, because I haven't seen it in so long. And when I originally watched it, I really liked the movie because, it was about superheroes and things of that nature and blah, blah, blah. And oh shit, sorry, y'all. Me being asleep, I wasn't really awake to what they was really, really trying to say in this movie. You know what I'm saying? So as I'm watching this movie, My bad, y'all. These roads got hella bumps on it. They need a fucking... But yeah, I'm watching the movie, the X-Men Apocalypse, and it's the beginning of the movie. Now, the same hieroglyphics that I seen where that was in the documentary, these people are now giving praise to that these people was giving praise to in the documentaries on these hieroglyphics. In the movie, these mutants are wearing the heads of these same beings that that people were giving praise to in the hieroglyphics. And one of them was like a bird head. One of them was like a woman and things like that and stuff like that. And the rest of them were like men, and they all gave parts of themselves to make up another being. That's the actual truth. All of them gave parts of themselves up to make an actual being. So when I was describing divine masculine, divine feminine, the reason that you have divine feminine in you, men, is because one of the beings that made you up was a woman. Okay, it was a woman, and you have to find balance in between your masculinity and your femininity. Okay, because you could embody a lot more femininity than you do masculinity, and it's about balance. It's more so about balance. It's not about, oh, you a woman, or oh you a man and stuff like that. It's not about that. All right. So I see the same hieroglyphics inside of on the movie X-Men Apocalypse. All right. And I thought it was interesting because what happened was the documentary ended up waking me up to a lot of shit. So when on the movie, the same five followers or whatever, or 5 people, they were basically serving this energy. The blue dude on X-Men Apocalypse, he does not represent an actual person. He represents energy, not an actual person. And they won't tell you that because Hollywood have to make it look like an actual person, but it's not that. It's just the energy. All right. So when he decided, so the blue guy, he gets like, they turn on him. The human beings turn on him because they tired of being enslaved. And he basically wanted the mutants to be in charge and to run the world. The people who have their powers and believe in their powers and actually use their powers, he wanted them to run the world. But what ended up happening is he got betrayed while he was in Egypt. And they ended up killing off all the other mutants. And when they kill off all the other mutants, he was like, yo, like, oh, 1 second, y'all, I gotta, ooh. Ooh, 1 second, y'all. All right, so they basically ended up turning on him. The people in Egypt, they ended up turning their back on him, and they ended up killing all of the followers. And when they killed all the followers, it basically took over. The humans basically took over the world after they entrapped him, and killed all of the followers. But they didn't know that one of the followers ended up saving the energy. All right, one of the followers ended up saving the energy. Okay, but they wasn't followers; they was actually gods. Okay, it just, the movie makes it seem like they were followers, but they weren't. They were actually gods. Okay, so the movie starts and it shows the credits. It's important that you pay attention to the credits because if your third eye is closed, you won't be able to see that the credits are actually a portal, and the portal is showing basically the time from when they started, when they took over the world or whatever, when they decided to betray the dude, fast forwarded to modern day. And that is an important part. The reason that they show you the modern day is because they want you to see what all of these mutants going through before the energy comes to them. Because not everybody embodies the energy well. They don't embody the energy well, okay? And that's this Godfather mutant that they showing, all right? So when they figure out, when they find out that they don't embody the energy, shit. All right, so they figured out, hold on 1 second, y'all. All right, so they didn't embody, not everybody embodied the energy well, and not everybody is going to use the energy for good. Okay, so Hollywood made it seem like this energy was an evil energy, but in actuality, it's how you embody the energy. It's how you take on the energy. Okay, so they show you Magneto's life. They show you Jean Grey, Scott, all of their lives before this energy comes into their life. Okay, and it's a reason for that. It's a reason to show you that. And then after they show you all of their lives, like for instance, Magneto, his wife and his child was killed. All right, Nightcrawler and fucking Nightcrawler had to fight the Earth Angel, and the Earth Angel ended up getting bad karma because he was fighting for these people, these people, and killing all these mutants and helping these mutants. So he ended up getting bad karma, and it fucked up his wing. God fucked his wing up. Okay, but when the energy returned, because he was doing stuff that he didn't know. He didn't know the Earth Angel. He didn't know like it was kind of like he had like a spell on him to where he had to do it. It was like blackmail. If he didn't do it, they was gonna kill him. So once he fucked his wing up, it showed Magneto's, his wife getting killed, his baby getting killed, and it showed everybody else's life before the energy starts to come in. All right, so then these people go and awaken this energy from his tomb, from his slumber. Now, when they awaken him, they don't know exactly what's in store, or who exactly is. Damn, these people can't drive. But they you know what I'm saying, they was basically trying to figure out, what was going on and what happened in Egypt. Well, Professor X was trying to figure this out. What was going on, what happened in Egypt with this lady that he used to date, but he wiped her memory because he could telepath, right? Actually, I believe personally that Professor X is a narcissist, but I ain't gonna go into that. I'm gonna just say what I got off of the movie and how I went through my awakening. So as I'm watching the movie, the energy, he wakes up, the Godfather mutant, he ends up waking up in the Middle East where he was buried. When he wakes up, he in confusion because it's not what the fuck he left, when he went into slumber. And if he did go into a slumber, he definitely wanted his mutants, these high-level mutants, to be in charge of the world. And when I say high-level mutants, I mean like people, the mutants who had high frequency, who believed in their power, who embodied their power, and wasn't letting these people put them into a light code lockdown and shit like that. Because that's what Professor X was doing. Professor X was, if you don't know, he was putting people into light code lockdown to where, yeah, you could learn how to use your powers, but at the same time, it was more so of the fact that if you didn't know how to use your powers and stuff like that, you were ashamed of it, but he didn't want you overusing it or using it for some bad shit or whatever. So Cerebral was basically meant to I feel like Cerebral was meant to keep everybody, in a slumber. But we ain't gonna talk about that right now. So when the energy returned, the Godfather mutant returned, he was confused. He was like, yo, like, I'm not understanding why my pyramid is not up. Then I knocked down my pyramid. I do not get why there are no mutants around, because he couldn't spot any mutants. And it's because they was on the light code lockdown where they basically didn't display their power as much as they should have been. And it's because they was on the light code lockdown. So after he figured out that there was still mutants, they just wasn't using their powers. Storm, he ran into Storm. Storm was the first mutant that he ran into in the Middle East. When he ran into Storm, Storm displayed her power in front of him. So that's how he knew that the mutants wasn't gone. They was just under a light code lockdown where they wasn't using it as much. So Storm displayed her power in front of him, and she ended up stealing, and he couldn't figure out why the fuck she was stealing. She a god. You know what I'm saying? He told her that. He like you're a goddess. He could not figure out why the fuck she was stealing and running because she had these powers where she could have destroyed these dudes, but that was chasing her that she stole from. She could have destroyed them, but the chase ensued. So when he ended up chasing her, the blue energy, he followed them. He ended up killing the dudes that was chasing her. After he killed her, they got acquainted because she found out that he was a mutant and he was using his powers. So he was like, she was like, you should come with me. So he ended up following her to her apartment. When he got to her apartment, he was looking around like, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? Stuff like that. He was like really like just checking it out. So after he ended up checking it out, he was like, she looked at the wall, and on the wall it was a picture of Mystique. And she turns around, Storm turns around and tells the Godfather Energy she's a great fighter. The Godfather Energy, he was not impressed. He was not impressed because he knew what she was, which was a reptilian. She didn't have like actual real powers. Yes, Mystique could fight. Yes, she could shapeshift, but that's about it. She can only shapeshift. She was not like a real high level mutant like Storm was. So he wasn't impressed when he was like, she's a great fighter, because he knew the fighter that Storm was. All right. So after he realized like she was asleep and stuff like that, and she wasn't at her highest power, he looks over at the TV, and the TV is like, he's intrigued, he's interested, because he's never seen the TV before. The last time he been outside, they was building pyramids. You know what I'm saying? So he was interested in what this box was, this television. So when he goes forward towards it and he touches it, the frequency fuck up because of how high his frequency is. So when he touches it, he's able to see all of the disasters and things that happened that was not natural, but they made it seem natural. The world made it seem like it was natural to put these mutants under basically a light code lockdown, so that they wouldn't use their powers. He saw all of the weapons that was built against his mutants and stuff like that and everything. And he was pissed. He was mad as hell. He wanted to see why the fuck his people sleep, and why the fuck they not taking over, why his world is not built, why when he awakened, the mutants not in charge and his regular people in charge. He's mad, so he started his campaign. He started recruiting motherfuckers, and he recruiting high level mutants like Storm and shit like that, who could really do damage when they when they at their highest level. He recruited the Earth Angel after the Earth Angel went through all of that stuff. It was kind of like he gave the Earth Angel his power. God gave him his power. That God gave him his power. The Earth Angel, his wings came back. He gave him his wings. All right. He leveled Storm up. So when he came out of Storm's house, like when he was getting ready to leave, Storm was like, "What are you doing?" Because he started getting close to her, and he touched her, and she was like, "What are you doing?" He was like, "I'm making you stronger. You are a goddess." Okay. So she went through her awakening. That's when her eyes was like that or something like that. When you go through awakening, it's not how you think. It's like, it's not what you think, like, oh, everything is peas and creams and da da da. No, it feel like somebody just pushed you off a fucking cliff, like, because you have all of these downloads, and it's like everything rushing in at once because you start realizing a lot of shit. So what she went through was an awakening. So then if it shows what happened to Magneto and stuff like that, And after he get on his campaign, he wants to recruit Magneto. And the reason that he want to recruit Magneto is Magneto is very powerful. He's a very high level mutant. He recruited Magneto because Magneto can help him build his you know, his world, what he wants, his reality. So he takes Magneto, and Magneto was getting ready to kill these dudes who told on him after he saved one of their lives. He ended up catching them at the factory and getting ready to kill them. And this dude walks in. He's like, "Don't try to stop me from killing these people." And the energy was like, "No, fuck that. Kill them, because they were keeping you asleep. You know, they done told on you. They done took everything away from you that you ever loved. And it's time for you to stand up in your power. It's time for you to really, you know, show that." And that's where the Light Code Lockdown come in, is because everybody don't use their power for good. You know what I'm saying? So, but it's not their choice. It's your choice. You know what I'm saying? So he like, "Nah, come with me." He's like, "Come with me if you want to find out who you are, and like, you know what I'm saying, you want to become strong and stuff like that." So the blue guy, he recruit Magneto. And when he does with Magneto, he takes Magneto to this to where a lot of his trauma has built up, where his core trauma has built up. And this is important because this is a part of shadow work. He took him back to the concentration camp, and this was a lot of trauma because Magneto, this is where Magneto discovered all of his power. He found like he had a lot of power. His mother was killed in front of him. He was forced into a concentration camp, given a number. So this was a lot of trauma for him to bring him back here. So when they got to the place, he like, "Yo, you should not have brought me back here," because Magneto could feel himself getting pissed off, getting angry, So he trying to work, and the energy looked back at him like, "Nah, you need to heal this so that you can become stronger." He was like, "Nah, you need to actually become stronger and heal this so you can heal the inner part of yourself so that you could be the actual person, the actual mutant, the actual God that you..." Excuse me, my voice still messed up from being sick. But the actual God that you are supposed to be. So he told him to put his hands on the ground, no different from you and I, where if you take off your shoes, well, your hands and your feet are panels. So if you take off your shoes and you go and walk in the grass and stuff like that, and you actually just sit there and like going within, you can feel the earth connected to you. You can feel the beat of the earth, the heartbeat of the earth. You can feel all of that. You know what I'm saying? So he told Magneto put his hands on the ground. Magneto didn't know there's metals in the ground. So he didn't know he could control dirt too. You know what I'm saying? So he started feeling his power, and what he did was destroy the place that destroyed him. So when he destroyed the place, that automatically healed his trauma, and he became more powerful right then and there. So that dude was basically helping these mutants become stronger, and he wanted to basically have the people who were knowledgeable and knowledge rule the world, while the rest of the weak, or the people who didn't have these powers or whatever, they, you know what I'm saying, they become enslaved, or they, you know what I'm saying, destruction. Well, that's how Hollywood made it seem. So he wanted to figure out who the fuck got my people asleep. So Xavier decided that he wanted to connect to Magneto, but Magneto had already felt his power, and he trying to tell Professor X like, "Nah, like, I've given myself to and tried to conform to what society has wanted me to conform to." But he's like, "Hell no." He's like, "I'm done with it. They done took so much from me. They took my family. You know what I'm saying? They done told on me after I saved their life." And he was just done with humans, done with mankind. You know what I'm saying? And Professor X is like, "Nah, like, come to the school." And Magneto like, "Hell no, fuck that. I'm in my power now. You can't tell me shit." You know what I'm saying? So Professor X was like, "Nah, I need to put a stop to this. I need to put them back under, you know, this Light Code Lockdown." So well, he didn't know that this was the Godfather energy is all seeing energy. Like, he could connect to any energy and still be alright. So because he was before he you know, he awakened, he was already embodying other mutants' energies. So, and they was willingly giving him his energy. Okay. And that's where the praise and stuff come in. They was willingly giving him his body and letting him take on their mutant powers. All right. So So after they ended up, after he ended up connecting to Magneto, he was able to see exactly who was keeping these people under like called lockdown, and he connected to Cerebral. When he connected to Cerebral, he not only connected to the mutants, but he connected to everybody that was in a power to get rid of all of these weapons and shit like that, these nukes and bombs and submarines and all of these stuff that cause mass destruction, that are not natural powers, like natural stuff to really, to get rid of humans and stuff like that. So he ended up taking that over and destroying all of that, ridding the earth of that, because he was like, nah, it's time for us to rebuild this world to what it actually is, which is basically the high level. If you vibe high, you have a high frequency, you could have whatever, you can have whatever if you have a high frequency, which was if you a high level mutant, you could have the world. And Professor X was like, nah, because this shit could turn evil. He was like, nah, we need to keep everybody under a mass sleep, and they can learn how to use their powers slowly. So the dude ended up going to snatch Professor X, because he thought Professor X's power, because he was a telepath and he connect to anybody's energy. Professor X has been practicing his superpowers so long that he is already at a high level. No different from Magneto. So the blue guy, he thought this was so interesting. So he ended up snatching Professor X. When he snatched Professor X, Professor X was like, he still was not going for it. And the reason that Professor X was like, he wasn't going for it is because he just thought that, like, this was an evil energy, and he seen through Jean. He seen the visions through Jean, and he was just not in agreement of this. So after he snagged him, Havoc, which is Cyclops' brother, he ended up destroying the school, blew up the school, blew himself up. And Quicksilver ended up coming in to save a bunch of mutants. All right, Quicksilver is Magneto's son. So after he saves them, the government comes in and they start lying. Oh, please remain calm. Medical is on their way. And it's all these mutants outside of the blown up mansion. They like, please just remain calm. Help's on the way. Medical is on the way. So these mutants, they crowded up in this one huge circle. Then all of these soldiers get off of these helicopters. And they have weapons, but the weapons are not like regular guns. The weapons are, they shoot up. If you notice, they shoot up these waves in the air, and the mutants fall after that. The waves are EMFs, electromagnetic frequency. And if you don't know, if you have electromagnetic frequency through your phone, you experience this every day through your phone, television, all of that stuff. So when they shot them powerful EMFs, that basically put all of those mutants back to sleep. Put all those mutants back to sleep. But if you, like a high-level mutant, you believe in yourself, like, for instance, Mystique, it didn't have an effect on her much because she's just a reptilian. She can only shapeshift. But the rest of them, it really, like, fucking knocked them out. And it was supposed to put them into a slumber on purpose, because the EMFs was to put them asleep. Not in, like, a physical sleep, but, like, a third eye. That's what the spiritual meaning of them throwing those EMFs at them was meant to do. So when they throw the EMFs at them, they like, fuck, you know what I'm saying, it's they put them to sleep, and Jean Grey them, they end up getting into the helicopter, but they can't get out of the helicopter after they see what's in the helicopter, because there's so much EMF inside of a helicopter. And if you've never been in a helicopter, especially like a military helicopter, they got a lot of shit in there, like you know what I'm saying, like computers, navigation systems, a bunch of crazy shit in helicopters. So when they get in there, it's hard for them to get out because of the EMFs. All right. So they ended up going to the military base. And the dude is now, he's already building up his pyramid. They're already starting to build already. And it was like Jean Grey Jean Grey was the only hope. And the reason that, so they ended up fighting. The Earth Angel was fighting ended up fighting on the side of the energy. Magneto was fighting on the side of the energy. And he had like some more recruits, Storm and some other people. And then they had, the X-Men. They came in to fight against other X-Men. All right. So Jean Grey, they ended up getting over to the pyramid and ended up fighting them. The reason why they turned on the blue guy's energy, in the movie they made it seem like because he was evil. In actuality, spiritually, they were going back to sleep. They ended up going back to sleep because Professor X was putting them back to sleep, putting them back into this slumber. All right. And it was important for Jean Grey to destroy the energy in this movie, because once you go through your awakening, you become a rising phoenix. So it's like, after you go through your soul journey, and you go through everything, all of the stuff that, your awakening and stuff like that, you become basically like a rising phoenix, you start standing in your full power. And that's what Jean Grey basically did. She stood in her full power, and that's what destroyed the energy. All right. So, and that's how I went through my awakening. That's what made me start going through my awakening. After I watched the documentary, and then I watched X-Men Apocalypse. And it wasn't like, I don't believe in coincidences, y'all. So when I watched it, it was like, after I watched the documentary on Amazon Prime, right underneath that was like X-Men Apocalypse. And it was coincidental that I hadn't watched the movie in a long time, but I wanted to watch the movie. You know what I'm saying? And it just so happened that those same hieroglyphics and stuff that I was watching and stuff that I learned on the documentary was actually in this movie, X-Men Apocalypse. And we technically going through it in real life. We technically going through it in real life. All right. So that's how I was able to connect my dots. And that's how I was able to see exactly what's going on. And that's why I decided to make a change in my life. And that's why I decided to teach you all. All right. So I hope with this video, it helped give you guys some insight. I'm gonna leave the description for the other video, the documentary, inside of in the description below, so that you guys could check it out. If you have Amazon Prime, you should be able to watch it. There's 4 movies though, so make sure y'all watch it, pay attention to it. It is a documentary, but pay attention to what the people are saying in the documentary, even if it may seem like an opinion. Pay attention to the facts. All right. And I also want to say again, thank you to my new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who has been coming to watch my videos. I really appreciate the love, whether it's good love, bad love. You know what I'm saying? Even my haters, I appreciate y'all for showing me some type of love. All right. And I also wanted to say, to make sure y'all still staying spiritually protected out here, because the war is still going. It's a silent war for a reason. And what else? All right, yeah, and that's about it. All right. My voice is kind of hurting right now. My throat kind of hurting right now, so I'm gonna end this video right here. But I want to say, thank you guys for the support, the love. I love you guys right back. And continue to vibe high, man. Continue to vibe high. It's good versus evil, man. So pick the right side. Pick your side wisely. Choose good over evil. All right. Ashe. I love y'all. Leave as I come. 1.